Turkey's strategic importance now is exactly what you said. It is a secular democracy with a Muslim majority population that's not a model for anybody. It doesn't want to be a model, but it's an example of how to reform politically and economically and create one of the world's most dynamic economies. And you know, if you look around the region, whether it's to Damascus or to Cairo or to Tunis, all these places were once places where Turkey played a huge role in the Ottoman Empire. I'd say first, in the United States, there is not strong anti-Muslim feeling. There is not at all. There are bigoted people in America who don't like Muslims or Jews or Catholics or Mormons. It's nothing specifically anti-Muslim. Bigotry is bigotry in the United States. In fact, in my lifetime, in my professional career, there has been a powerful effort to embrace Islam and Muslims in America and in the government. I found it difficult to get people to recognize even the fact that there's bigotry within Islam, because we're not supposed to think or say anything bad about Islam. I know here in Turkey and in places where there are Muslim majorities, people think the opposite. They think there's Islamophobia in America. There's not. There's bigotry against all people. But this is a small percentage of the population. But your question, the next part, is, I think, crucial. I think, personally, I've long believed that the most important ideological struggle anywhere in the world is inside of Islam. It's between extremists or bigots and people who are more willing to embrace modernity and look at Islam for what it is, a beautiful religion in which many people interpret jihad as an internal struggle to improve yourself. And there are others who believe jihad should be violent, should be an external struggle to exterminate the infidel. And I think that negative, bigoted position comes from, in part, ideology. There is a movement in many countries with many pieces, but largely centered around, it could be Salafis, I would say Muslim Brotherhood in a more moderate form, but people who would like to replace secular law, including democratic law, with their interpretation of Sharia, their narrow interpretation of Sharia. We should all aspire to having God's will and God's vision of what is just spread throughout the world. Of course we should. But the problem is that these bigoted people say, only my interpretation is the right one, right? Yes. And yes, killing is justified because you were operating differently than the Prophet, peace be upon him. Yeah? So I think the core struggle in the world is between those who are bigoted and those who are tolerant in all societies, including within Islam. Finally, within Islamism. Right? Within my one reservation to your statement is that when you come up against bigoted people, you need to fight for what you believe in. That said, the world is much better and will be beautiful when we get to the point where we search for the common interests. And that's what diplomacy really should be about. It should be about finding common interests and then together pursuing a joint agenda, even if you don't agree on everything.
Exactly.
So yeah, congratulations, A9 TV, with the agenda that is reflected in these lovely questions. It can only be for the benefit of everybody if you continue to prosper. So congratulations. Happy birthday.